Hi, everybody, and welcome to What's Next? Got to do with it. Welcome back, everyone. It's a brand new week, brand new episode, a brand new guest, and I'm thrilled. I am at home again in my drag room. If you're watching this visually, excuse the mess. Oh, I tell you, Christmas and the festive season, honestly, it's like just swapping drag bags to the next gig and all that drama. I was in drag earlier and I was going to stay in drag for the pod, but truth be told, it is a bazillion degrees here. And by bazillion degrees, I mean it's 26 degrees, which is like, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that hot, but in drag, it is so hot. And we did this gig and I thought I'm going to save my face. I'm going to stay in it. But mama, we finished the Grease Mega Mix and my eyelashes were coming off. It was sweating the house down boots. I took the drag off, so I'm sorry. It's just me out of drag. But hey, look, come on. With my lips, like Minnie Cooper said the other week, with my lips, it's like I'm always in drag. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all of that drama. But I hope you're all well. I hope you're living your best lives, and I certainly am at the moment. I actually have to say, though, this week, I've been coming to terms with my own loss that I've experienced, and it's not a loss of anything great apart from my hair. Look, I'm a baldy. I'm an egg. Look, I actually blend into my door. If you're watching this visually on YouTube, you'll see I'm an egg. My hair started thinning when I was probably like, 22, 23, but I held on. And then during COVID, I shaved my head and like everyone did. And I was like, oh, it's fine. But I didn't commit. And I regrew my hair back. And then only sort of maybe a year ago, I decided to commit fully because my partner, he shaved his head and he looked gorgeous. He actually is such a beautiful bald man and I love it. And it makes him look very sexy, but he can also have facial hair. Whereas when got to do drag, I got to shave my beard off. And I think it works when I've got a beard because it kind of balances out. But when I don't, I look like Uncle Fester. I feel like you just put a light globe in my mouth and I will like turn it on. I feel like Uncle Fester. And I am struggling with that at the moment because, I think back fondly to when I did have hair and I remember like I was that kid that tortured their hair with hair dye. I dyed my hair pink. I dyed my hair blue, black. I did, all the colors. At one point I had mutton chops down to here. I had like all the things. And I loved playing around with my hair. And it was one of those things that it gave me a lot of confidence. And people used to say I look like Adam Lambert. Lol. So it was one of those moments where, as it started thinning, then I started wearing hats a lot. And obviously, being in wigs, I didn't really care. And I stopped putting an effort in my hair. And then it went to a comb over. And then I started getting the spray hair, those little spray hairs in the can to make it look thicker. There's a Christmas photo I saw from a couple of years ago at my friend's house. You could tell the hairline was sprayed on, mama. Or it was holding on for dear life. So there was really no point in me holding on to having my hair any longer because it was just falling out and it was getting worse. So I committed and I've been shaving my head for a while now. But I'm thinking about controversial yet brave. And I know sometimes the hair systems are not that great, but there are some good hair systems. So I'm thinking I really want to invest in a bit of a hair system at some point. I think that's my goal. And if anyone who's listening to the pod has any idea of places that I should go and have an investigate of, let me know as well if you're experienced hair loss and what your situation is. Because I don't think we talk about hair loss enough. And I think people suffer in silence. And it can actually be quite a big destroyer of confidence. Just so you know, you're not alone. I am an egg, but but anyway, that's my for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me trauma dump onto you. I'm excited to welcome my special guest just after the break. We have a gorgeous sister all the way from RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under season 2, and I'm so excited for you to see who it is. So we'll be back right after this. Welcome back to What's Lost Got to Do with It, everybody. I am so excited to welcome my beautiful sister from Drag Race Down Under. It is none other than Beverly Kills. Yes,
Thank you
bitch.
for having me. I want the audience to know that I think I sent you one expiring Instagram message saying, Sis, can I do the pod? And I did not expect that less than 48 hours later we
We'll
would
be
be.
on
I appreciate queens that make shit happen because we both know a lot of queens that hey girl, like, can you pay my invoice? And it's like, 4 or 5
silence.
months later. Yeah.
Well, I try to do what I can. It's been my goal as well. Like, I want to interview everyone from our season. That's my goal. I'm working through it slowly, but and intermittently dropping in other people there as well.
Girl, we're old news. The finale of season 4 is like in 2 weeks and 1 day. And
Isn't
I
that
was like,
wild?
oh my God, are we like, we're like a relic of the past. Like, we don't exist anymore.
I know we've been, and but then like think of what were they? I saw something today or the yesterday that they're crowning like this down into season 4 is like they're some in the hundredths winner or something. Like it's insane.
I don't even want to think about it. I feel like, and we are part of the problem, but even the drag race fatigue is hitting me a little bit. And
Yeah,
I will say, over the past 2 years, I've put my finger up. I'm like, how am I feeling about this? And I'm like, I feel better when I'm kind of away from it all because it's such a beast.
yeah, yeah,
So every time I see new girls get announced, I'm like, I always send them a message and I'm like,
yeah.
have an amazing time. Just buckle in. Just strap in for a
Yeah,
ride,
yeah,
sis. Yeah.
because they don't realize, I don't think, like, and you say like, and we can say that, and because we know, but sometimes they go, yeah, sure, we'll be fine, and
Mama.
then, Mama, just take the message, take the
Yeah.
compliment, take the, the sister having confidence in you because far out.
Yeah, I gave Mandy Moves that pep talk before she went away for season 4, and she was so flippant with me. She was like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever, whatever." She gets back, first thing she says is, "Girl,
Yeah.
I get it. I everything you've told me, I get it."
Yeah, because they look at us like we're fucking crazy. Yeah, it was interesting because remember, so I went up to Brisbane, where Bev hails from, living in Melbourne at the moment still, and then we went up for what was it called? What was it? Pride or something?
Oh yeah, fair day.
Fair Day, and we were with Mandy just before the season was announced and whatnot. And I said, just message us whenever you need it. And she has. She's been a good girl. She's listened.
And like for me being like I've always gone to Mandy with like, Mandy, I need help. Like, I don't know, I need like emotional support, I need drag support. And having her come to me for help is like,
Well,
like
yeah, I know how the tables have turned, Manda's
literally, I feel
moves.
like Adele, we got turning tables. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
No, I'm very excited. Well, what's loss got to do with it is, a journey through the concept of loss, which we're both privy to, We've lost many things in our lives. You lost your Muriel's wedding virginity,
Mm-hmm.
which I was very proud of.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you watch Down Under, you'd know there was a conversation had about Beverly not having seen Muriel's wedding, which sparked quite a debate with
Mm,
people because I didn't realize how many people hadn't seen it. So you
mm.
weren't alone.
I feel like I was the catalyst for a lot of people realizing that they had some catching up to do on like kind of
Queer
Australian
history.
or queer culture.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? Now that I've like kind of I've watched all the gay films I need to watch.
Yeah.
I've now become the person on the other side of it. So when I meet some twink at the club
Yeah.
and I make a reference to like Tu Wong Fu, and they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "You haven't seen Tu."
Yeah, bash 'em. What was your
Um,
favorite one when you went through your journey? What was your favorite?
Girl, okay. Well, I thought Muriel's Wedding was like a comedy about ABBA, and I was like, "Oh, this is like a incredibly like
Deep.
sad film."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the best one, girl, it's Mummy Dearest.
Yeah, good film. Yeah.
It's Joan with the brows and like, yeah, just
Yeah.
like a bit
Yeah.
like confronting in its own way, but like so unbelievably gripping and camp. Like, I just
Yeah.
loved
Because
it. Yeah,
like Faye
it's
Dunaway,
Dearest.
who played Joan Crawford in that, she distanced herself from that movie. She just didn't like the way that she like the performance of it and the way that it depicted her as well. Because I think then people linked her to Joan Crawford in a way that like she was more Joan Crawford than Joan Crawford was, you know? Oh,
That's like me distancing myself from season 2. I'm like, I don't recognize that person.
I said this to you the last time I saw you. I was like, you've grown so much in that time. It's only been 2 years or something. I kind of want to know for you, what has been some of the biggest takeaways that you have and the lessons that you've learned in the last couple of years since doing the show, especially being so young.
Oh, honestly, it is that like there's no one way to do life or anything. And Queen said something which at the time I was like, okay, whatever, like you don't know anything, bitch. And now like the voice like echoes in my head. She said you can define your own success. And at the
Mm.
time I was like, okay, flop, whatever. And now I'm like, she's right, fuck. And only when I started like running my own race and defining what success meant for me, that is when my mental, physical, spiritual health went like all the way up.
Mm,
And it was because I think I'm a very naturally competitive person. So instead I was like, no, 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 I'm just doing my own thing. I'm not gonna do what someone else does better than them because that's what they do. But
mm.
I can do me the best.
Yeah.
And it is incredibly cringe, but there's a reason why it's kind of like a common phrase. Like everyone's running their own race and it's very, very true.
Hmm.
But like acting that out day to day is a conscious effort. Like I'm a big believer in we're all, so many queens in the industry. We're all queer people. We've all had very dark days and dark moments in our lives. But I truly, truly believe that you have to put the effort in to steer your life the way you want it to go. And sometimes the road
Yeah.
will take a twist and a turn. But for the most part, you're in the fucking driver's seat. So be an adult and take control. And that's the tea.
Tea, that is tea.
Mm.
Because it's so true. I'm glad that it's something that you've said because a lot of kids these days, and I hate to commandeer this term from a lot of people sling this at us
Is it woke?
from
Is
the
it
right.
woke?
So, well, I don't think it's woke. I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
anti-woke. I think, but like they say the oppression Olympics, everyone's like
Oh.
they bring up, people use things that their illnesses or this or that or like their
Mm.
their identity or as
Mm.
excuses as to why they're not succeeding in life at things.
Mhm.
And when I say succeeding, it doesn't mean being a millionaire. It just means doing the fundamental thing and getting through life every
Yeah,
day. And
for
I
sure.
think people use those things as excuses to to say why they're not succeeding, and
Yeah.
they get trapped in those little bubbles where they
Mhm.
like you can't escape. We've all been there. But
Mhm.
I'm so glad that you said that because I think people find the power in themselves
Mm.
to go, oh my god, I can do this. It doesn't have to be I don't have to be winning Oscars and winning medals and doing all that kind of stuff, but
Mm.
succeeding in the way that I'm thriving, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm having a good time, and I'm enjoying life. Because sometimes I
Mm.
think people, like I see people, I'm like, do you enjoy anything? Like,
Oh, yes. I have recently realized something about myself, and this is something that I've had to focus on, and it's like I have to stop like having an opinion on everything. Like sometimes things just need to
yeah,
be themselves, and that's great.
yeah.
And I'm really trying to avoid cliches, but I keep fucking walking right into them.
And I
But like
love them. I love a
everybody,
cliche.
the tea is that everybody is different, and that's what makes life fucking interesting. I think again, like coming off Drag Race, I felt this like immense pressure to like prove people wrong that I'm like, no, like I am good at what I do, whatever.
Mm,
And then because I was feeling insecure in that, I like put it out. So a lot of my sort of first instinctual thoughts, and not just with drag, this is like day to day life.
everything.
A lot of my instinctual thoughts were like incredibly negative, and you have to steer your brain into a different direction to think positively. And sometimes you have
Hmm.
to be a fucking wanker about it and be like, all right, I'm going to find one fucking positive thing about this day, this situation, this person, this event, whatever, and make yourself happy to be there and grateful to be there. And I
Yeah.
think that trapping yourself in that negative mindset can restrict you from so many things. For example, I genuinely felt that like I could not be, I don't even know if I've spoken about this as a
Mm.
publicly. So debuting information.
Oh, here we go. Hot takes.
I did Drag Race, and I'm so curious to know how many other drag queens or Drag Race contestants have felt like this, or reality contestants, whatever. I did Drag Race, and I wasn't making enough money that I thought I was, and I had the realization of I have to get a day job.
Bitch, yes. Like, honestly, and they think because you've been on TV, they think you've got like mazillions of dollars.
Girl, I
And
have a
like,
housemate. Like I have a housemate. I'm
yeah,
in a fair house. What do you mean?
and our infrastructure here is not well formed enough to be able to like support all of us and our careers
Mhm.
like it is in the States
Yeah,
and in the UK.
yeah.
And I look at those girls sometimes and they're like they're doing this and this, and I'm like, we can't I can't, like, I don't know, we can't get management. They're like, what do we do with you? And I'm like, the same thing you do with all the other ones. Like,
Yeah, and then there's like managers being like they're going to like Stonewall in Sydney being like, so my client needs $2,000 to perform, and you're like, whoa, like
yeah,
it's like not a thing. And I find as well that holding us to the same level, and I think a lot of people just kind of put everyone in the same bucket. Like I am
yeah,
still just a person from Brisbane who does art part time, and I think there's like these like giant expectations because if we see that like RuPaul Charles can do that, why can't Beverly Kills do
yeah.
that?
Why hasn't Beverly Kills got a suitcase brand?
I know.
Yes.
I found that like so frustrating. And the biggest like shame moment, you know how like, have you seen Bridesmaids, right? Of course.
Yeah. Oh, well, yes. Good. Yes. Thank you for
Sorry,
testing me.
are
I
you a gay
appreciate that.
person? Yeah.
Hello, gay person.
When the mother was like, I think this is your bottom, I had one of those moments with my mum
Oh, you
after Drag
did
Race.
you?
Yeah, I was doing, and I will, you know what? I'm so beyond caring at this point. I want people to know what life can be like sometimes.
Yeah. Oh,
I
God.
finished Sydney Fringe and it was after a tech rehearsal and I did not have enough money. And this is after Drag Race. I've done
Hmm.
Drag Race, I've toured, I've done all the things. I didn't have enough money to catch an Uber back to my hotel. So I had to call my mum and I went, I'm so embarrassed, but I need money to catch an Uber. Thank God for my amazing mum. Kerry, love you, mum. She sent me,
Love you, Ma.
yep, shout out, mum. Sent me the money I needed. And I like remember getting back to my hotel and just like breaking down crying because I had so many expectations of like not just what my life would be like financially, but I was like, oh, that it's going to be like Drag Race is going to completely change your life. And
Mm.
it does in so many incredible ways.
Hmm.
But I just had an expectation that it was going to be something else.
Yeah. It's kind of sold to us that way a little bit. You're going to become famous, going to be, and like there is elements of that that are true, but they don't tell you about the other side because the more that we do, the more that we have to spend and put money into it. And then the
Mhm.
return's not always that great. Sometimes we're working for nothing. You could do a whole Fringe season and then they're like, here's your $30. Good
Yeah.
luck.
And the rough thing about like Fringe and all that, and even like any other gigs as well, is like because we're still just like, self-managed artists, we
Mm,
pay the flight, the accommodation, the costumes, the Ubers months before you even get paid for said gig. So
yeah.
it's like, and I'm like, that's just like kind of an industry standard. But like when you are like, we are still just small businesses, like we're one person
Mm,
businesses, like you don't have any employees, I don't have any employees. It doesn't work like that. So it's
yeah.
very, very, very difficult. And like, yeah, so that moment kind of put things into perspective for me. And that was sort of the moment where everything kind of switched. Because in my head, I'm like, I'm going to be like, I mean, I'm so hardworking and there's nothing I can't do. And for the
Mm,
first time, I kind of hit a wall there and I went, no matter how hard I work, it's still going to be really fucking hard. And I was
yeah.
like, okay, so instead of pushing harder, I'm just going to push a different wall. And that's when,
Yeah.
okay, great, I'm going to get a day job. I have an amazing day job.
That
And,
is wise, bitch. That
and
is
then
wise. Put that on it. Instead of pushing harder, I'm going to push a different wall.
And now for the first time, and like I know it's tacky to gloat about money, but like from someone who's been at rock bottom, I have money now, and that's really nice.
Whee! Yeah, yeah. I'm jealous. I'm slowly getting there. I'm reevaluating where I put my money and what I do with it. But
Yeah.
that's so good. What are you doing for a day job? May I ask? Is that
I won't say the name of the
no?
brand, but
Obviously, yeah. I don't
this
want
is going
people.
to be a massive shock to everyone listening. I'm a gay boy working in marketing, which is really like breaking down some barriers, like,
Well, you're good at that.
Well, I like to sell things. I was really good at selling. I used to work, there's this Australian company for listeners overseas. There's this Australian company called General Pants,
Mm,
and they're known for like their really intimidating, intense retail. And I was
mm,
so good at selling clothes. I had the best sales across like all the shops in Queensland. And from that moment, I was like, I was born to sell things. And then when
yeah.
Drag Race happened, I like loved, even though I loved the branding challenge. I like loved the branding, I loved the marketing, and it was just like so fierce to me. And
Yeah.
now now I get paid to do it. And I'm like, oh,
That's
great.
so exciting.
But in my head, I was like, oh, like if I'm like, if I'm an artist, I'm a drag queen, and I've committed so much time and effort and emotional and physical work into this, to be doing something else felt like a bit like disrespectful to all the work you put in. But it's not. Like if you can completely take your mind out of it, you can be so respectful and appreciative for the life that you've worked for, whilst also doing something else. I think
Yeah.
there's this kind of mindset that like in the drag scene or even in the music or the arts industry that like everyone's goal is to make as much money as possible. But I'm like, I think my goal is to be happy and healthy, and
Hmm.
that is a lot better than having $1 million.
Oh, 100%. I said that when I got back. After doing the tour in the UK, I was just in, I loved the touring. I'm in that space and I'm working and I'm having a good time. But I got back from the UK tour and I went into a big depression. But it was because I needed to refocus on what I wanted. I was like, money and all that is great, but fundamentally, I felt like I pushed away my friends and I pushed away my family, and
Mm,
I had a disconnect there, which I have never had. And I was
mm,
like, what's all this for if we don't have people to share it with?
yeah,
And fundamentally, what's it all for if you can't be happy enough to enjoy it? Oh, and it's a work in progress. And do you feel that? Do you feel like there's still, you're
it's
always
it's
getting it?
it's going to be different every day. Healing is not linear. Grief is not linear. Like you're going to go back forward. It's a fucking roller coaster.
Mm,
As long as you kind of have a net positive, meaning that like at least, over time you can go slowly upwards. Like that's
mm.
great.
We want the long haul.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We're
yeah.
not doing overnight success. It's not a thing.
No.
But like, have you found that like you've had not a similar instance, but you've kind of had to like reframe your mindset of like what actually makes you happy and like what's actually worth it for you? Because like we get thrust into this like Drag Race is such a monolith in our culture that like when you get thrust into it, it's like one track minded. But have you found that like your capacity for happiness can change when you sort of like look a little bit wider?
Oh, bitch, yes.
Mm.
Like 100%. It like I said, I was in that same space that I think we all get into. Is like you do the show and you're like, this is what I'm gonna get from it. And if I don't get this, then I'm not good enough. And I'm like, and that means, and it's a reflection of who I am. And I'm not gonna be happy if I don't do this because it's all I've ever wanted and whatever. And I had to realize that fundamentally my experience was my experience for a reason. It wasn't
Mm.
because I did anything wrong or did anything I couldn't do anything better. And I had to also be grateful for what I did and how I did, because
Mm.
started to get into that place where I wanted more, but wasn't being grateful for the things that I had. And so
Mm.
and then so once I started to like step back and look at the reality of what the situation was and how I did, I started being proud of myself again. I started to reframe what it meant to be successful, like you've touched on, what
Yes.
that meant, and then what it also meant to be happy. And, right, like I really wanted to move to the UK, and I still do. That's a goal of mine. But I wanted to do that so badly. I got myself into a tiz of unhappiness when it wasn't happening as quick as I wanted. But then only like, I think this was only like 2 weeks ago. I sat back and I was like, oh, life's pretty good. I
Yes.
like I'm very lucky. Like, life's pretty good. I'm happy. I'm having a good time. My relationship's good, and
Hmm.
I got my little dog. I got my room. I got my things. I'm doing some gigs that I like. This is happy. This is good. What I
Mm.
like, yeah, I want to move to the UK, and it will happen when it needs to happen. But I don't
Hmm.
need to be forcing myself and making myself feel bad that it's not happening as quick as I want it to.
Of course, yeah. And
Yeah,
like I think you and I got raised in like a similar kind of like we were kind of both fed you can be anything you want to be, which is
yeah,
which is
great.
true,
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean that like every single thing in the world that you want will happen to you. It just
mm,
means that you can, I think what the true message is, whatever is given to you, you can do whatever you want with that, you know.
yeah. Do you feel like you got this sort of mindset in the way to think from your parents? Because you've got very supportive parents.
Yeah, I think like and I'm also the youngest of four. So
Yeah.
like because of that, I think they were like slowly, I think parents are really tough on their first children. And then as it goes on,
Hello.
are you the
Yeah.
first child? Yep.
Yeah. I'm
And
the
because
yeah.
I was the baby of four, they were like really gentle with me and like they could put the parenting into like autopilot and it was very
Yeah.
easy for them. They weren't stressed. There was never stress or frustration in the house when I was around because
Yeah.
they had kind of worked through that with my other siblings. They've taken it.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. Love
Thanks,
you.
mum and dad. Woohoo.
Speaking of what's lost got to do with it,
Yeah.
I wanted to raise a point, and I'm curious to know if you or any listeners have experienced something similar. Maybe like 3 or 4 months ago, had an epiphany, not an epiphany, but maybe an experience that I did not expect to have. I was
Okay.
I was
Go.
at a nightclub, and I was surrounded by boys that were like younger, cooler, attractive, and just kind of like a lot like the very like archetypal, like cool young Melbourne gays, right?
Oh, that scares me.
A
Whoa.
little, it scared me a little too, sister. I feel you. I was a little
Yeah.
frightened, like I was a bit spooked. And I kind of found myself in a situation, and I had a little bit of like not jealousy, but maybe like resentment because I focused so much of my like from like 18 to like 21, I was like locked into drag, so locked in, and it took away a lot of kind of experiences that I feel like they got. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yes.
And so because of that, I remember I went home that night, and for some reason I was like, and there's a reason why everyone hates twigs, and it's because they're kind of like easy to hate because I think a lot of them are very like very carefree, and some of them are fucking wankers, and sorry, most of them are fucking wankers. But like, I think they're kind of
You
like
heard this here first. Beverly Kills thinks twinks are wankers.
I'm an expired twink because now I hate them. I've grown up. But like I think there is something to be said. The reason why they're probably quite disliked is because they're incredibly carefree and like that's
Mm,
kind of what makes them wankers. But like
yeah,
I felt a little bit of resentment. And I remember talking to my partner Greg, who is just the most level-headed, incredible
yeah.
person in my life. And oh, you've met Greg. We love Greg.
I love Greg. Love Greg.
Yeah, and I love Jack. It's fabulous. Greg was like, "You're probably feeling like really." He kind of understood that I was feeling upset and frustrated. That I'm like, "Oh, like I didn't make like a lot of friends that weren't drag queens in my early 20s and my late teens because I was so locked into this, and I just felt like I'm like, oh, like not thinking what if, but like I feel like I'm a little bit robbed of these experiences." And then this was one of those like mind shift resets that
Mm,
Greg did to me. You go to the nightclub and you're the star on the stage. Do you know how many young boys are in there going, "Oh, I could just never do that. I want to do it, but I
mm.
could just never do it." And that was when I was like,
Oh,
"Shit, I'm so ungrateful."
no, but I suppose it's like, yes, it's ungrateful in a way, but it's also like it's just acknowledging where we're at because I was the same. I threw myself into drag from 18 and
Yeah.
never like
No
never
social life, no
no
friends,
yeah
no family,
yeah
no money, no
yeah
job, drag.
yeah,
Like,
drag, literal full drag all the time. And every one of my friends are drag queens. And I love that because I think I learned a lot. I think this is also coming with like getting older as well. Because we threw ourselves in that, we missed, I suppose we missed out
mm,
of that sort of carefree party phase of life or whatever. We've caught back up.
I think we
we've caught
have.
back
Yeah.
up. But I no, but it's you look back and you're like, oh, what could it like a font of what could have been like a? Do you feel like it was it like that? Like a, what was if grass is green on the other side? Like,
It
what
was a
happens
little
if I
bit.
didn't do that? Yeah,
Yeah, because
if I let my twink side run free and like I didn't concentrate on drag, what would you be?
I was like in drag and I felt like almost like a bit undesirable because like they were all like flirting and whatever and having fun and I was just kind of like the clown in the fucking corner, like kind
Oh
of ready
yeah.
to like go do a show and kind of feel a bit like thankless for it. Oh,
Because you
like
sort of started as well in that time where there was still like the, oh, you do drag, oh, you know.
yeah, I'm not trying to talk ill of Drag Race, but I do really believe they really set me up to be someone that I didn't really like resonate with because like I they edited me like, oh, she's like a Drag Race super fan. I started drag like well before being on Drag Race would have been a possibility for me. Like I didn't know we were going to get a Drag Race down under. I just did drag 'cause I
Yeah.
liked it, you
Yeah.
know?
Wow, the same, same bitch. I don't even know why I started at that point. There was nothing. It was like, what are we? What? It's just torture now at this
No.
point.
Yeah, it's like, and yeah, there was the brief moment where drag wasn't cool. And there's still people who think, I think drag is so now oversaturated in like gay media that like drag has gone back to being uncool a little bit. I think it's like, okay, yes,
Yeah, it is
we've
kind
seen
of,
Drag
isn't
Race, like
it?
we know we don't care. And I'm
Mm,
a little bit, I sometimes like dip into that pond a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
Can you
that's sort of,
watch the show?
I don't enjoy it.
Probably.
I keep up for the girls, but I
Yeah.
don't sit down and go like, "Ooh, Drag Race night," because
Yeah.
it's not traumatizing, but like,
It's not traumatizing.
it's it's something. I don't know what it is.
It gets me sometimes. I'm like, oh no, you know that poor bitch. She's
Mm,
just like she's just come out of a room that she's been locked in for 3 days, waiting to come in and see people.
yeah, and like when I watched Drag Race Down Under, and like when Freya started like crying because she was stressed out about being in the bottom, and she was worried she'd be eliminated, and
You go, you
started,
little bitch, toughen
I
up.
s- girl, I wanted to be tough because I feel like I have quite a hard exterior, and then when I
Yeah.
was watching it, I was like, oh no, I feel really bad for her because I feel
Yeah. I love that you've had that epiphany because I
yeah.
think that just speaks to the level of growth that you've experienced as a person that I've seen. Because I
Alrighty.
remember, yeah, because I think a lot of people remember, our interaction on the show was when I yelled at you. No, well, it was when no, you yelled at me. Well, no, yeah, how did that go?
I honestly
I
don't
think I was.
remember, and I don't really care to remember. Like
No,
I,
oh no, but I
yeah,
love it. I think that was a powerful moment for us both.
yes,
I think I learned a lot.
as
You
did
know,
I.
sometimes Hannah, your opinion and your voice can be graining in a situation of stress. Shut your
Mm-hmm,
fucking mouth.
mm-hmm.
And,
And I can lack
and
foresight, and I can't read the fucking room, so it's all
yeah.
good.
But then I think I think that place is, it's a pressure cooker
Mm,
but like from that moment when like we were together, because I remember like speaking to you prior to the show on legal phone calls that we had. But I was so excited, and I'm still very, very like glad that we got to be there. And I was just sad that that was one of our last sort of interactions.
mm.
Um, but then since then, just being able to work with you, get to know you, and be on the journey with you, I've just been so incredibly proud of the journey you've been on. Like you just blow my mind because
Oh,
you commit to what you want to do and you're unafraid. And I think there needs to be more people taking a leaf out of your book in terms of like what you've said today about like how you reevaluate success, what it means to be in this industry, not being ashamed to, have to do different jobs or whatever.
it's honestly just like blocking out the haters and sometimes the haters are like more like internal as well. Like when they're telling
Yeah,
you like, oh, like you should be doing this. And it's like, yes, I should be doing this, but like who is saying what I should and shouldn't do? Like there's no rule book for life. Like it's very much your own journey. And again, we're doing cliches, but like
yeah,
you can decide your own steps. And like if you allow someone else to dictate like what you think about yourself or what you want to do with yourself, then you become the loser. So as soon
yeah,
as you sort of like block out those voices, whether it's other people or your own, then you become the loser. But as soon as you can sort of like take it into your own hands and define what you like, that's fucking great. I think that's so fierce. And from that kind of series of epiphanies I've had, I can launch some insider tea. I'm probably not gonna like post it online, but like listeners will
mm,
figure out. People fucking figure it out.
yeah.
Girl, I am taking the longest, fattest drag sabbatical break, and I'm so excited.
Oh, I
Oh
love
yeah.
that. What is your plan for your break? What are you going to be doing?
Oh God, I'm gonna drink a lot. Well, the reason it happened was just because like I just got to the point with drag where I was like, I saw
Trixie?
Trixie
Yeah.
took her break, and I was like, if this incredibly successful artist can take a break, I'm allowed to take a break. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
all good, and it's because it's just been go 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 literally since I started drag. And everyone
Mm-hmm.
seems to think that our lives started at Drag Race. We have had entire lives
Tie lives. Yeah.
of being a drag queen or just a person in the arts industry
Mm.
before any of that. Like Queen was working as a professional dancer for like 10 years before she even started like cross-dressing at all. So
Yeah.
like people think that like, oh, you're new to this. No, bitch, we've been here for
Here.
ages. You just
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And so I literally thought of it and in like early like Mardi Gras time next year, it's literally 6 years straight of drag. The longest I've taken a break has maybe been like 3 weeks.
Ooh,
And
mama. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm like, oh shit, like I'm ready to take some time off and I'm trying to think of it more as like a bit of an era. So I'm trying to see it as like a little bit of an end of an era. I told
Mm-hmm.
actually fun story. I told a few friends about it and then about 2 weeks later, rumors started getting back to me being like, Bev's on All Stars. I had
I'm not
three
gonna
queens.
lie, I heard that. I heard
Yeah,
that.
well, yes, it's girl, it ain't me. I had like three different queens message me being like, "Hey, just like I do wigs if you need them for anything," and I was like,
Yeah.
"For what?" Like, no. But
I can
honestly,
sew on a button. What do you
uh,
need? What do
oh,
you
good,
need,
good.
girl?
Good, good, good. You do with some hot
I've
glue.
got I've got gig wigs. Do you need a gig wig? I've got them.
Love them. Love a
I'll
good
give you a
giggy.
bottle of my fragrance to take and traumatize girls.
Your fragrance. Have I told you this? That every time I
Yes.
smell you, I get flashbacks to Drag Race
Yeah.
because your perfume is so strong.
I know. I literally it traumatizes now 2 seasons worth of women, and I love
Yeah,
it. But
good.
it's discontinued, so we're on the way out.
All right, you
So
got to
I
step
don't
up. No
know.
more trauma. That's nice.
I know.
So I
But this
think,
break is so exciting.
well, it's honestly what I
Yeah.
lost was my passion and my drive, not for drag, my passion and my drive to impress other people. I was like, oh, I like
Oh,
actually don't care what I respect you, I respect your thoughts, but your opinion of me genuinely could mean a single thing. I'm really, and
that's impressive.
that is for anyone listening. Like it just got to the point where I was doing shows for promoters, events, bookers, anyone that I really love and respect. And it got to the point where I couldn't be bothered putting on a good show for them. I couldn't be bothered looking my best. And I
Mm.
was like, as soon as that happens, girl, you need to take a break. I'm putting Beverly Kills in a box and I'm locking it for months. And I'm so excited. I don't have a comeback date, and I'm okay with that. I will come back.
That's
I will
yeah,
come back, but like
on
we
your
have to
own
stop.
time.
We have to stop.
Yeah, that is so fabulous because it is, and it is scary. Like I know, like we're always sort of ingrained in the arts when we're working in the arts. Take every job, take this, take that, and the rate in which people expect us to keep going and
Mm.
putting out content and this and that and be present, like it's exhausting.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about content. When people like, can we get content? If you call content, you need to like, I will fucking block you. Like, don't call like you're taking a selfie to mask the moment when bitches are like, oh, I need to take content for my Instagram. No one
No.
gives a fuck about your Instagram. No one cares. Like,
I know. I
oh.
bitch. You're very rare at these days. Like honestly, I just my because like I went to the TikTok Awards. Mama. Mama, not to shit on any TikToker, and like social media, because like my brother does it and he's really great. But bitch, to get into the fucking venue took forever because everyone has to do not just their photos, but they've got to do, oh, get me walking in. I'm gonna do a cheeky look to camera, and then I think I'm like, all these people get all these like brand deals and stuff like that, and they get fed all this money and they get all this stuff, and it's like amazing, well done, you've created. I don't want to
No,
discredit their talent. Well
no.
done, you're living your life. Good on you. There is talent in content creating. They're not doing it for nothing. They're actually
This
very
is this is
good.
true.
You know,
Yes.
and I'm like, I don't want to discredit that. But then sometimes I'm like, what are you doing this for? Because it seems that it's all very much for the self and for the people like, do you know, I don't want this to sound really horrible, but sometimes
No,
I
give it to
feel
me.
like they're doing it for themselves or other people, and it's almost like they rate each other against each other for what
Mm.
each other can get and what each like who their brand deals are with and who this and that, who they're working with, what free stuff they're getting. And it's always interesting. I saw a few people go, why am I watching this? I was through the comments of the feed, like, why am I watching this? It's like, well, yeah, why? Like, yes, it's good to celebrate these things and people that do great things. Like, we have the Diva Awards. I'm trying to say that sometimes it's interesting that like we reward people in these spaces and not necessarily always for the right reasons. And I
Oh
think
yes.
that when you go to these spaces, some of these people are actually not very nice people, yet
No.
they get celebrated so hard.
Oh
And it's
yes.
like, why are like I don't want to assume everyone's financial space, but a lot of these people are quite well off and they're really like the rich people just get free shit.
Mm.
Like the rich people just get free shit.
Yeah, but Hannah, you don't understand. They have 100,000 TikTok followers, so like you need to respect them, okay? Because like they're verified, okay? So like just
Oh,
watch your mouth, like
I know. And then,
respect. You don't have those many followers, so like you need to pipe
okay,
down
call me out,
because
bitch.
you
Call
could
me out.
never,
I
okay?
could never. And I know that I'm a part of it. Like I know, and the irony of me saying that, I get it. I totally get it because I have to do what I need to do to get the bread and butter on the table. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not saying this is about all of them, but there
No.
are some of them that I know that I was there, and I'm like, oh my god, painful,
Yeah,
bitch,
I just think that like we
painful.
spend so much time on social media.
Yeah.
It is absurdly true. So like for example, when I go to my day job, my little morning commute, we are on the train, and if everyone sits in like little enclaves of four,
Everyone's on their
every
phone
single person is on in
consuming.
Instagram or TikTok, every single one.
Yeah.
Because we must consume the content because we cannot be alone with our thoughts for more than 1 second because the world is horrible. And like
Mm,
that's half the reason I'm taking the break because like I'm sorry, I'm logging out of Beverly Hills. I'm logging out. I'm done. I'm so done with
yeah.
it because I'm
That's
just
so
sick of
yeah.
I'm like taking the feeding tube out. I'm like, no, like done. I want to go
Oh,
frolic. I want to go frolic in a field. That'll be
I
nice.
love that. I
Yeah,
think we
but
all need to do a bit more of that, to be honest. Like,
hmm.
I'm definitely, now I post and get off as much as I can. Post, get
Yeah, I
out.
think I think that is the way to do it. I think if you're posting and then looking to like see what the metrics are, You got to get a grip, especially if you're like not a paid influencer. And I think the other problem is I have a few friends, I could literally list them, but this is a public podcast.
We
Um,
won't do that.
but I'm like, you're not even like an influencer. Like
And they're
you're
looking at the
not.
numbers. Who's viewing my story?
No, and like for some people, like that is genuinely their job, or they want to make it their job. That's great.
Yeah,
But I
great.
think we have been genuinely conditioned to post like influencers, model, travel bloggers. I'm gonna call out, you know what? I love her, and the reason I'm doing this is because I care about her. She's probably not gonna fucking listen. My niece, my biological niece, has less than 100 followers, but genuinely posts like she's an influencer.
You are called out. This is
Yeah.
we are calling you in.
We're calling you in
You're in.
to reflect on what is important
Yeah.
because she's posting like casual night in and she's like set up the candle and the magazine like really perfectly and the book. And I'm like, you ain't read a single page because that book spine hasn't broken,
Yes,
sis.
yeah. You know that she's just taken the photo and then she's gone and gone out for a drink or whatever. Or no, probably not even just sat there
No,
and
no, no, no,
scrolled.
because everyone, they're all the Gen Alpha, they've got social anxiety. They can't do it. They can't do it. So no, we must not
Yeah,
go out.
we must connect. I think Beverly, you brought up a great, but we need to connect as human beings again and be
Well, yes.
unafraid to like communicate with each other
Mhm.
and not look at the value of a like or a
Mm.
comment on a social media post as being the defining moment of your friendships and your interactions with humanity. I think we
Yeah,
need to like get back to the real touching, palpable
mm,
in the space with each other. I know you're going on your break, so enjoy it, have the best time, and just like you know that you've always got places and people around. So we're very excited to see your break, and well, to not see your break, but see you after the break.
bitches, don't message me. I'm not.
Yeah, stay out. But yes, I think this is a really good lesson for a lot of people to learn, and it's nice to talk to you before this. And let's maybe do a recatch up when at some point one day
That
down the
would be
line
great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and see
Cool.
what you learn. I'd love that. I'd love that. But your words of wisdom have been absolutely incredible. So Beverly Ann Kills, you are now off the clock. You're allowed to go. But I love you, Chicky, and
Love
thank
you,
you for
Hannah.
taking the time to be here. And yeah, you've been an absolute joy and a dream. So
Oh, love you much, Auntie.
love
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
All right, everyone. Wish Beverly goodbye. We're gonna have to take a break, and then we'll be back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to What's Lost Got to Do with It. This is a segment I like to call Healing Hands. And surprise, surprise, Beverly Kills is sticking with me.
Yeah, I'm
We
not
have,
going on my break. We're
yeah,
doing drag.
yeah, we're doing drag again. To be honest, these two questions that I've been sent because I put up the thing too late. The first one comes from my friend Jessie, and Jessie says, "Can you please teach me how to come second twice?" That is a read.
Who cares? Can I? That's the level that I'm at, which is great.
I would tell you how to come second twice. Do everything you can perfectly to the way that you would do it, and you'd go on the show, and then you just unfortunately our supreme overlord didn't deem me fit enough
But also,
to win.
I will be really quick with this segue. On Down Under, they're doing this thing like oh vibe, like she hasn't got a win yet, but she's been in the top like 5 weeks in a row. That is still amazing.
Good, I know, I live. Honestly, it's so true. And like you always forget. And I remember like when we were on Down Under, I didn't like win the like I was in the top for the costume thing, our first
Yeah.
episode. And they're like, "How does it feel, Hannah? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride." And I was like, and they got into me. Like first episode, I'm complaining about not winning. What a loser! What the
Mhm.
fuck?
Mhm.
Like,
Go, who
calm
cares?
down.
Who gives a fuck? You didn't lose the gold. You won the silver.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah.
I
Next
also got
question.
one repeater badge. So well,
Oh, do you still have it?
yeah, it's somewhere. I don't. I put it. It's in a memorabilia box now because I was scared I was
Yeah.
going to lose it. It's there with my Scarlet Envy lipstick as well that I stole from the set.
That's cunty.
Yeah, I put that in my bag.
I have zero. I've only won one award, and give or take, I don't really care.
What was the award?
It was the Queensland Pride Young Achievement Award, and I felt bad because this is where this. I think this was actually another turning point moment because it was like voted by the public, and I like Drag Race had just finished airing, so I was like, if you guys could all vote for me, that'd be great. And then I come to learn the two people I'm up against are like One of them was like a PhD student studying like the spread of HIV and
Mm.
prevention, and the other was a climate activist or something. And then me, the crossdresser wins. And then the genuine guilt that I felt was
Genuine, like, studied, like, helping the planet. Well, you're bettering the planet now.
trying to. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm bettering the planet by leaving.
But okay, my second one, Lewis. Lewis Roberts. Not really a question. It's not really like they're not trying to get help apart from asking me to share my story on my fabulous lip journey.
Which is something that you've never ever spoken about. So,
Never. I never. I tell you though, I think I'm gonna have to get some dissolved.
okay.
Yeah, because it's like it's migrated. I love my lips. I think I went excessive for a bit, and then I've stopped getting them filled as frequently. You know, I don't feel like they need to be bigger. I had dysmorphia of the lip, and now I look at them. But I look at old photos because I thought about getting them fully dissolved. I look at old photos, and I had no lip, girl.
But
I
that's
was
fine.
no lips. So a little like I'm just happy with them now, but I've got to get them reshaped because I think it's coming away, and I think I'm gonna end up with lip like in my eye or something.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
gonna. Have you seen The Substance yet?
Yes,
You're gonna
yes.
grow like a.
A
Oh
big
yeah.
old pop. That movie was unhinged. Did you enjoy The Substance?
I haven't seen it. I've just seen the trailer.
Oh,
So
bitch, you need to watch it. It's unhinged.
I know, I know. And here's the thing, I know I'm gonna love it. I just haven't been able to make time because I've been so, and this is why I'm taking a break because I'm like I
You
got
got
invited to see
stuff
it.
to do.
I got invited to see it twice by two different friends, and both times I was like, I have a gig.
Top gigs,
I want to
ruined,
see The
ruining our
Substance.
life.
I want to see The Substance, and I know that I'm gonna be in love. So very excited. But yes.
That, everybody, was Healing Hands. Thank you again to Beverly Kills for sticking around for those really poor, unfortunate questions. You are a superstar.
Back at you. Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't wait for people to hear your story and hear all your life lessons. But for now, everybody, thank you for listening to the podcast. We'll be back again next week with another gorgeous episode. But for now, we are signing off. We are out.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so Hannah has a sense of self-worth. Do it.
Please, thank you. We're in capitalism. Capitalism. You do not
Bye.
have a bobby pin on your finger, do you? I have a bobby pin on my finger.
That was weird. I didn't like that at all.
Oh, we've synced up. We've synced up. Oh, well, let's go sync up in the real world. All right, everyone.
It's the substance. Bye.
We love you. Bye.